welcome to episode
23.
23. I almost lost my count. So we have a question that we can start with. Basically, when you're on the bottom half guard and you commit to a Kimura and the guy's kind of strong and it's good, has some good defenses from the top, what can you do to salvage that? Yeah, this is actually good because, you know, Keon's a little bit stronger than me. Just. We already have a question?
Yes, we do. We have Bob Adams and Elon saying good morning. B4D Mash says, hi Fox, can you show how you do iron fist from mount and from your closed guard? Thanks.
Yeah, you know, the iron fist is a little bit more suited towards the NoGi. So with the gi, I take this grip. With NoGi, I usually just use this grip. So let's see if we can answer that question with, so from the mount. I just realized we're always crazy on that. So from the mount. So instead, normally with NoGi, I would grab my wrist. And I don't, a lot of times, depending on the angle, whether it's from the bottom, from top, I'll either put this part of my hand on the carotid, or sometimes it's actually the knuckles, which is actually even more brutal. With the gi, I can use this grip. NoGi, it's this one. So it's not dramatically different, just keep in mind. And sometimes I use, if the guy's gi kind of opens up, I will, generally speaking, use a NoGi variation of it. So the key is the placement, guys. Really pay attention to where your hand goes. Because a lot of people try to push on the tendons here, and this is unpleasant, but it's not going to put anybody out. So you need to make sure that you're on the carotid. And once I am, I start to put my... So once I'm in place, so initially I grip like this, right? And then I want to put my shoulders above my elbows, okay? So again, this is the gi variation. This is the NoGi variation. All right? From the bottom, I generally speaking will use that as a follow-up. So for example, I don't know if this is going to come out right on the camera, but basically I do a guillotine, and the guy kind of beats me and starts to move. Yeah, starts to pass my legs. I'm already switched. Go back. Aaliyah, can you remove your left hand, lift it up? I don't know if you could see this.
Yeah.
This is, so basically I'm switching. Let's try to do it from the same spot because I think Aaliyah zoomed in. No. Yeah, you're on your knees. Oh. Can we get some coffee for him? So, as I'm going for a guillotine, right? Maybe, so you could see that I'm trying to put my leg in play to make sure he cannot pass to my right. But sometimes as you're doing it, he's already starting. So slow down. As he's doing that, I realize my leg's gonna get past. So I'm swimming from here into the NoGi Ezekiel, also known as Iron Fist. It's there. And it's on. So hopefully you guys could see the details. By the way, guys, get the app because we go into a lot of details on the app. There's a lot of coverage. So generally speaking, on YouTube, we spend about 10 minutes explaining a technique, and then you spend another 20 to 30 minutes going over some of those techniques and going into greater depth on the app. Right now, I think you get three free days, so good idea. If my style of jiu-jitsu is for you, get the app. It's both a Google store and an Apple store, and we're developing, I don't know if it's ready yet, for laptop as well. So Google and Apple on your phones, it's already up and running, and you get three free days, I believe.
Could you show kind of where you're placing the fist while he's postured up, just so we can see it?
So this is, Is it visible?
Yeah, I'm zoomed in.
So this is the knuckle portion. The other way is, I need to be a little bit more this way. So depending on the angle. So before, if I'm more square on, I will use the knuckles. If I'm on the side, I will generally post. So again, you know where the carotids are if you're not looking at an anatomy book, because that's all the chokes that you're doing needs to be cutting off the carotids, not other parts of his neck.
We had a question from Mark Bishop. I'm struggling to get my shoulder in the right position. Can you please explain some details? I'm assuming for the guillotine.
Yeah, if you go deep, you're not going to put your shoulder, you need to go shallow. So basically it's the entry. If you're going deep, there's like, no matter how much I push my shoulder, it's going to push in that direction. First of all, it's not a whole lot. And second of all, it's this way. Guys, try to be a little bit more specific. For a second, I thought it was maybe, like the episode we covered before. Or did we cover it before? Rolling.
Oh, yeah.
How you roll, when you get thrown, or how you invert. So you need to make sure in what specific positions are you having trouble. So hopefully Leah's assumption is correct that it's a guillotine. So when you go deep guillotine, this is a pretty surefire way for a tough guy to escape, because I push as much as this is the maximum. That's not the direction you want to be pushing. You want to be pushing down in the back of his neck, not forward. All right. So go shallow, because going shallow enables you to rotate the shoulder forward. That's what you need to do. And this the same thing, when you top side control, lay down for me for a second. See, if I go really deep, this is the best I can do. So I don't go that deep. I go shallow. Now you can see how I can rotate it. When you go shallow, it allows you to rotate here versus forward. Okay?
So actually, to clarify, the iron fist from mount, how to use the shoulder.
With iron fist, from mount, go back. It's not, the idea, the shoulder is not as relevant. Okay? So you don't need to cut off both carotids 100%. Okay? You don't have to cut off both carotids, period. I think a lot of times you need to cut off one of the carotids enough. I don't know what that enough is in terms of percent. So basically the shoulder is not as important as, so I'm going to try not to even put shoulder pressure. So I didn't even put shoulder pressure. Of course, it's better to cut off one of the carotids a little bit, whether it's 30%. 30% is better than nothing. But in the Iron Fist, NoGi, Ezekiel, it's not, the shoulder forward is not as critical as it is in some other aspects. For example, arm triangle, the shoulder forward is critical. In guillotines, in most guillotines, it's critical, because that's what keeps the guy's head in this position, versus if he can swim here. It's very difficult to swim from here, to swim your head, that is. So you need to make sure that, again, on this one, it's more cutting off. The carotid blood flow cut off with that hand, the iron fist, is so significant that the other side is not as critical. It's better if you get 70% here and 30% on the other. A lot of times it's enough. But sometimes if you get 70% on one side, it just takes a few extra seconds. So it's not as critical, because the escape is going to be much more difficult. Whereas in the other, like especially the shallow guillotine, if you cannot get your shoulder forward, he will escape. Forget about the constriction. The constriction is weak, but also you're giving him a chance to pop his head out.
So we had one question. Fox, can you teach me jiu-jitsu? I don't think I'm doing it correct. Can you guess?
Yes, I can.
Can you guess who?
No, the reality is.
Enrique.
Oh, jeez. Enrique, if you were here, you'd be already in that corner, like slinking away. So the reality, guys, is this. you know, one time we posted something or the ad went on for the app and somebody's like, this is bullshit. You know, why would you learn from electronically? The reality is you need to try this at the end of the day. You know, this is supposed to be a supplement. This is, you know, like you're training at some academies. Again, every academy has certain strengths and weaknesses. Every person has strengths and weaknesses. I tried to teach you. My game is very broad, so I think you're in good hands. But I can teach you a lot of different things. I've been doing this for a long, long time. But if there's somebody else better, like somebody asked me, like, how do you play deep half guard? I will generally tell you what I do in deep half guard, but I'll point you to the right people that are really good at deep half guard. You know, your instructor should, you know, generally they teach you certain things, but if your instructor is a black belt that's trained, you know, 9 years, ultimately it's mat time, right? I have more mat time than great majority of the people. I've been doing jiu-jitsu over 30 years, but the first couple of years was only once or twice a week because at that time it was not available to train every single day. But the last 15, 20 years, I've been training every single day. So that's a lot of mat time. So I've been able to experiment with a lot of techniques. I've been able to play around with certain things. So what I would do is if you really, you know, having trouble, you need to first identify, this is a fairly easy thing. What am I having trouble with? Then you can go to the specific, you know, if you want to do the search on YouTube, you could always go like Silver Fox, BJJ, you know, whatever, Iron Fist. And a whole bunch of videos are going to pop up. Or Silver Fox, BJJ, Split Guard. A lot of videos are going to pop up. If you're on the app, that takes you to the next level because there's, first of all, a greater length of that specific topic, but it's also a lot more organized than YouTube allows us to do. A lot of these things have timestamps to make it easy for you guys, okay? So I would basically go, and if you feel like some of the stuff that your teacher is teaching you works, but not in all circumstances, then you could dive deeper into it. That's just like any other topic in school. Our topic is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so start diving deep.
Ensberg wants to know, Fox, are you going to do the lighter weight class for the Craig Jones Invitational?
Say it again. You got to speak up.
Are you going to do the lightweight class for the Craig Jones Invitational?
I was not invited.
Not yet. We'll make it happen. We did have one. We are running out of time, but the last question was, when hitting the iron fist from mount, what are your follow-ups?
Oh, yeah. That's a really good question. Yeah, lay down. Head to the camera so they can see. So, guys, this is really important with NoGi because a lot of times guys use this, you know, when you mount, a lot of guys that are good leg lockers are very good at kipping. And a lot of times they're happy to give you mount because it allows them a nice and clean entry into your legs. So anytime I mount, and I also, you know, even with the gi, basically guys can frame out, right? So I want his hands to be by his neck. So even if I feel I don't have a great shot at it, you need to threaten the Ezekiel well enough that the guy's hands come up. So when the hands come up, he's less likely to be escaping and less likely to be kipping into your legs. So anytime, especially if I'm going with a good leg locker in NoGi, I'll generally go and his hands come up. Yeah, you got to defend a little bit better. Come on. Yeah. So he starts, that's the side. So I go into high mount. Yeah, this sucks. Oh, yeah, that sucks. I can generate a lot of pressure, guys. Did we talk about that in previous episodes, how to generate pressure?
We always need to go over that.
Okay. So the point is by bringing, you know, attacking the NoGi or gi Ezekiel or basically Iron Fist, I don't care which variation you use, guys. Again, you know that my gi and NoGi games are almost the same. Sometimes with the gi, I will baseball bat choke, same thing. A lot of times I use the NoGi variation. So when I mount and I feel like the guy tries to go into kipping, my hands come in and start. So right now my entry was not that good. I'm on the tendon. That said, Keon felt enough of a threat to start bringing his right hand to defend, which is great because now I use my chest to go into high mount. And from here, there's triangles or arm bars that these are really, really brutal. But it's a really good way to get the guy's hands up. So if you're looking for a way to bring up the arm, the NoGi or Gi Ezekiel Iron Fist is a really good way to do this. And guys, we're out of time. We'll see you next week. Yes?
Next week or where?
Huh?
You're away next week.
I know I'm away, but I want them to tune in. Guys, we'll pre-record it next week. But it's a good topic.